support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. 'Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. This
Right, hello everybody. Good to see you here. Hi, thank you for watching. If you are on YouTube, if you're joining us on Facebook, Hendrik, Susan, everybody on YouTube, I can see you guys over there. It's really awesome to have you here with us again today. I am Nestene.
And that still makes me Peter.
And we are the co-founders of Explore ProTech Entrepreneurial Haven. What does Explore ProTech Entrepreneurial Haven do, Peter?
Good question.
I mean, you've been on the show for 365 times now since we started. You should know by now.
I probably should, hey? I'll figure it out.
Guys, what we're doing is we are looking for the 500 most fun, authentic, caring entrepreneurs in the entire world. Those entrepreneurs that are ambitious, they're influential, they're doing big things, they're impacting the world, they refuse to take no for an answer, they're spreading hope everywhere they go, and we're collecting them, and we're becoming a family. And just before we get into the conversation tonight, I have to say, I am such a proud tribe mom, #tribe mom, when I watched that video, because that video that we just watched as the intro for the first time together tonight, so we've watched versions of it, but that final version, there has been so many people involved in just putting together that intro video. Just as an example, so Somerville Lombard created the final video. She edited everything together. Joanne Moorhouse from the UK was the virtual photographer that took all the photos of our beautiful tribe humans. Enton and Cheyenne from Canada, from Peach Jam Records, they produced the song. Mo is writing slam poetry lyrics to go with it at the moment, and all the beautiful faces that you see in there, they're all people in our tribe. So those are all our entrepreneurial family. They are people just like you that we've gathered, that we've invited to share space with us, and we are taking on the world with together. And we're so excited to have more of you today with us on the call. By the way, if you see Peter jumping around,
I'm just rescuing my slippers from the dog.
we've got puppies, okay? So we might introduce. Do you want to introduce one of them to the viewers, Peter?
You want us to introduce our terrors to the world?
Oh, come on, they're so cute.
They're slipper killers.
So we have issues with security in South Africa at the moment, but that is why we had to get puppies. But they're literally all open. I think that one is literally going to eat the remote. Come here. Let me show you to the viewers. Oh, say hi, coffee shop. Hi, entrepreneurs. Oh, sorry. So this is the new puppy. So I apologize if we're a bit all over today, but that is what is going on.
The life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, entrepreneur's life. There you go, guys. Anyway, good to have you here. Let's get straight to the topic for today. So today's topic is a tech partnership made in heaven. So we have some amazing entrepreneurs with us here today, helping us unpack this amazing tech partnership. But basically, when we found Justin and Fuad, they were this incredible dynamic duo. And now literally I think the cat is attacking the puppies. They were this incredible dynamic duo from Canada, right? Literally creating the most incredible tech tools and just blowing our minds with their epic robot they created. So Dustin and Fuad, can you guys say hi to the people? And I think let's just start unpacking the story a little bit. So we met you guys when we found the robot that you guys have created, right? This incredible artificially intelligent being that we can include on our Zoom meetings, and it literally captures everything for us about the sentiment of the people, the notes, the video, the everything. It literally captures for you. How did you guys meet? Like, do you always like love to work with other people? Were you guys very happy when you kind of found each other? Because I don't know, as entrepreneurs, I sometimes feel like we love to work with people, and then other days I feel like
We want to kill them.
yes. How did this partnership happen? Just bring us in on the story a little bit.
So I want to say 10 years ago, I met Fuad. I started a week before he did at a marketing company in Ottawa called Media Force. So we worked there. I worked there for 6 years. Fuad, I think you were 7 years in when you left.
I think so. Approximately, yes.
Yeah, so we met there, and we always had kind of mused, let's go start our own company, because it's the small business problem when you work for someone else. It's turbulent. It's not every decision is the way you want it, and like we liked working there. We liked the crew. We liked the boss even, but it's just after 6 years of doing that in that kind of turbulent world, we decided to get even more turbulent and start a business. No, I mean
nice goal.
we parted ways for a couple of years, and the pandemic hit, and I was furloughed, laid off, whatever you want to call it. Fuad was looking for a new kind of challenge, so we said, "Hey, let's start that company we always talked about." So we did right in the middle of the pandemic. We realized that we had only actually got back in touch in person at the beginning of or the middle of last year. I think it was Fuad. I came to Ottawa so digitally we had just done this for the duration of the pandemic, and then everything's getting back in person now. We've had a few events in Ottawa, capital of Canada. But I mean, that's the long and short of the story. I don't know if you want to add anything, Fuad.
Well, that's amazingly said. If I may add, I think we always wanted to do something that's right, completely aligned with our interest, and that was slightly in the intersection of marketing and technology. And I think that really drove us from numerous coffee conversations that what and how we could achieve certain things differently as things are changing. And as things started changing, evolving in the domain of AI really, really fast over the last half a decade, we found new passion for new things, new way of solving problems. I think one of the things that triggered this journey is, as a matter of fact, we did a very large scale event on AI from the company that we used to work together. And Justin demonstrated an AI solution that we had built 5 years ago. And what that used to do, if you guys are interested, you would just simply put a URL, and it would tell you what are the probabilities or how good is this page in terms of conversion optimization. So we're not talking about SEO audit in terms of meta tags, blah, 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 programmatic text, and then cleaning that data and then visualizing a report. We're not talking about that. We're actually talking about looking at a website from a very expert perspective and then giving, hey, this is a blog, and this probably rates around 90% in terms of design. Or, hey, this is a lead generation landing page, and this is 8 out of 10. Try looking at this other angle and issues to get better scoring and so forth. So what we really scaled even 5 years ago is intelligent scale from a particular task perspective that a computer could make intelligent decisions. And that's from where we really started coming with durable thoughts, or more long-term strategy where we want to head.
That is so interesting. And so you guys basically So you said hi and you were like, I work here, you work here, okay, and now let's start a business. We want to do marketing and we want to do tech. And then like out pops this AI robot. I mean, not a lot of entrepreneurs are that successful at creating that like a tech solution that's that amazing. And I mean, this is before its time, literally, right? Like this is like we didn't even have Chat GPT or anything like that yet. It's one of the first like AI products on the market. Like how does this even happen? Like was it like lots of late nights just like working through the night? Was it putting a team together? Like how did creating this product look like?
It's really our passion, I guess. Sorry, go ahead,
Yeah.
Justin.
No, I was gonna say like the nuts and bolts of it. Yeah, yes, it's definitely a passion. But so when we first started out, Fuad was in a position where he could go full time on it immediately. I got called back to the other jobs, so I was doing that during the day and then joining up with Fuad at night. Just going through ideas, and it's funny because Blue Cap actually started, which is the meeting assistant, started as a medical product, which was close to Fuad's heart. And then we looked at it and we're like, what we've built here could apply to literally every meeting that ever happens.
That is super interesting. And I think this is where we kind of want to open the floor for all the other entrepreneurs that are in this conversation with us. And let's have that amazing, robust conversation. So maybe,
I have a question.
yes.
My question would be, and I've experienced this before in a space where there's a lot of tech, and with tech comes tech language. Between yourself, Justin, and Fuad, which one is the interpreter? Because I actually have found that in my previous industry, I had a tech guru that spoke English without speaking English, and wasn't quite able to quantify. Would speak to me, and then I would speak to the client. He'd be saying the same thing, however, they wouldn't understand him, but they would understand what I was saying. I find that it takes both. It takes both, like a brilliant mind, and then somebody that has a brilliant mind as an interpreter. Which one of you is the interpreter? Because
We guess.
You could guess. Or, Fuad, who would you say amongst the two of us?
If I could use that word, I suck at almost everything I do. I know a little bit.
That's not true.
I do a little bit of everything, and that's what I bring on the table, which is an ability to be able to look at things, at objects, and from almost 360 degree, and add a little bit of value to the experts like Justin, and then they take that and make bigger things. But I would say Justin interprets cohesively from start to beginning. If I were to write an algorithm, let's say 1 to 10 for developers that, hey, these are what it's supposed to do, they would be confused 15 days just trying to understand what are the exact precise outcomes I'm looking for. But if Justin takes my thought and then push that in a way that's understandable by everyone, investors and as well as the developers, not just developers.
I think that
I'm now out of the job though because Chat GPT has taken that job from me.
Well, I think that aligns with my question. How important is that relationship?
It's important. I mean, like, I don't think anyone's seen me and Fuad not as a pair. We know that we work most effectively together as a team. Fuad's got the depths of the content, or the brand new cutting edge type technology. Like he spends hours and hours that I just mentally can't handle, reading articles and documentations, and so he's coming up with all the new ideas before I've even heard about them on the street. So then we kind of do huddles to kind of break that down and then try to communicate that with whoever we're working with. So I don't think either one of us are as effective without that kind of symbiosis, I think.
I love it.
By the way, guys, in the all our beautiful guests that are here, we would love to hear your voices as well. please put up your hand if you would like to get involved in the conversation, just like this. And we can totally include you in the conversation, because I think at this point in time, me and Peter would just like run away with the entire conversation. But we do want to hear from you, and we do want you part of the conversation. But while you're thinking of those questions, what I'm interested in, also being a co-founder in an entrepreneurial partnership, Justin and Fuad, is this a partnership that just like worked from the beginning, or was there like certain boundaries and things and processes that you needed to put in place in order to make it work? Or was it kind of like a very natural process?
I mean, from my end of things, it was pretty natural. I mean, I think we had the added benefit of already working together for 6+ years,
Okay.
so we kind of figured it out at Media Force. But yeah, I don't know, Fuad, how do you see that? Like, is it always easy to work with me? I don't think so.
I think it's a journey, right? You come to learn your colleagues, you come to appreciate, you come to learn to go forward, and then some become more closer to you, who understand you, and you can reciprocate that perhaps. And Justin was one of them that we always resonated with each other. There could have been times that our logics were different, variables were different, contexts were different, but ultimately we could see that we almost think from similar grounds, similar perspectives, and I think those over time were magnets to a relationship that we don't have to fully explicitly always say everything to each other to fully exchange all the context. And I think that was a big part of that understanding. Yeah, if that makes sense.
And I think we're both good at seeing the big picture. I mean, we're good at, even if there's a disagreement, just putting the egos aside and take a break, come back, figure it out. Which I appreciate in anyone I work with, because I hate when ego becomes such a thing that it is damaging to an organization or a relationship, because it's like at some point you have to be like, all right, we want the same thing. Let's get there.
That's really awesome. It's always so interesting for me to find out. And I think that's also, it just like reaffirms how important it is, the stuff that me and Peter look for in our entrepreneurs, that we want in our close entrepreneurial family, is that ability to really leave the ego behind and work with other entrepreneurs, because I think that's the quickest, easiest way to move forward in business, is to have those people that are so close to you.
100%.
Yeah, but speaking about like from one duo of massive impact makers, Carolyn, you're one of those other entrepreneurs that's just a massive impact maker. You want to come into the conversation?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So I would like to ask you guys, because my interest is in organizational culture and leadership and how they relate. And so, have you thought about your culture, and have you kind of, designed your culture on purpose, or is it just emerging?
I think in a lot of ways the culture at UC Lab is relaxed by nature. We only work with people who, I don't know, they can't take themselves too seriously. I mean, we have to be able to have free and open communication with everyone. If there's a problem, we need to hear it right away, because it's a small team. I mean, we're not an enormous company. We need ideas from everyone. We need feedback from everyone. We even need to hear the things we don't want to hear from everyone. So, I mean, that's kind of been a tenet of how we've done things. The structure is minimal. I mean, there are some direct reports for the purpose of, this is who you listen to if you can't get to one of the owners. But other than that, everyone just works as, it's more of a circle than a line graph of who's who. Well, I don't know if you have a similar or different answer.
No, amazingly interpreted again. Thank you. That's it. I think one thing maybe just as an extension to that, what Justin, you already said, that we have a culture of being very receptive in terms of being humiliated, in terms of intellectual bravery. We reward people, anyone who actually intellectually challenge certain things, and if there is a good outcome of that, we reward them even furthermore. So yeah.
And do you feel that that has an influence on the quality of your product?
Absolutely. I think that what we did, as Justin said, with a small team, it could have easily, required 5x, 10x larger team if we didn't have that intimate, that culture understanding, that intellectual bravery as embedded almost in everything that we do.
I think that's so refreshing though. Like that's something that when I was still in corporate, that was not a thing. It was more like follow the rules, Nestene, and then it's like you get punished when you don't follow them, even when it's an intellectual thing. That's so cool. Carolyn, just also tell our viewers a little bit about what you're doing, and I think Justin and Fuad would be very interested in that as well, and everyone else, of course.
Yeah, so I run an organization called the Impact Collective, and we work with we work with purpose-driven entrepreneurs, mainly on culture and social impact and leadership. And I'm now just organizing and starting a project where I'm going to ride across Africa on a motorbike. I'm in Cape Town now. I'm going to ride all the way from South Africa to Egypt on a motorbike, and I'm going to stop on the way with 8 socially innovative women-led projects to really highlight social innovation across Africa and make a mini documentary series about all these different projects.
Jealous.
Cool.
I mean, that is so exciting. And Mr. Bracer, did you know that you were going to be one of the people to ride Carolyn out of Cape Town with Peter?
I have not. Now I do. I'll need to get my new motorbike soon then.
I mean, that is so amazing. And I think that's just the type of people that we have in this group. And it makes me so excited. Renee, can we throw you into the conversation from there? Do you have anything to add or like to ask Justin and Fuad? You can ask them anything at all.
I think it's more an observation of how they're working together. And I use very much the same concept in my business where I have collaboration partners in different areas. And I white label for other people white label for me, and we just basically work each other's businesses. So if I work for somebody, then I'm just his developer. If they work for me, then they're my designer. And it's such a brilliant, that collaboration. And I think the point I want to make is about the relationships, and which is so important. It seems like Justin and Fuad has got that pretty down to a T, where there is going to be conflict. And I think conflict is important. Otherwise, somebody is giving up way too much if there's not conflict. So you have to have those differences in opinion. But then how you handle those, I think, is the important part. And what Justin said is so important about just your pride, just put it in the back seat and stand back a little bit and say, but listen, this is just listen to the other person's opinion. Maybe you don't have to agree with him. I mean, to agree to disagree is a very good outcome sometimes, if you can get to that point. So I've learned a lot in the past, almost say a year and a half, about working with other people. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's always fun. And if you can just stand back and realize, but you can make mistakes as well. And everybody's driven. Everybody wants to grow their businesses. Everybody want to grow their revenue. But sometimes you just need to stand back a little bit to say, but just reassess and just see where we are going. So yeah, Justin, well done for that. And I see a lot of that in what I do as well with different collaborations. And then the question is, did you guys know each other before you started working together, or did it start off as a working relationship?
At MediaForce, yeah, we had met at MediaForce, so it was at work. Fuad was one of the work friends that kind of translated over to
Okay.
more.
Awesome.
Well, you know those
Awesome.
people that you meet at work that you never hang out with. We hang out and stuff.
That is very cool. And just tell us a little bit about what you do as well, Mr. Bracer.
So we try and solve all your online needs relating to your websites, your landing pages, microsites, and then also email and marketing automation. So we automate your customer journey from lead generation up to the sale point where it starts creating revenue. So we try and save you time and money by automating your processes. And then also we build your website. We handle your social media marketing, we handle graphic design, and really a one-stop shop to get your brand out there, get it going online, and then ultimately automate it to a point where you can focus on the important stuff and let it run in the background and do the work for you. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what we do.
Stunning. Ladies and gents, please remember, as always, we have all the links, all the LinkedIn links of all the beautiful humans that you're seeing on the screen in the description below. We've done the networking and the leg working for you. You're welcome, because it takes a lot of work to meet people that are this amazing. But you can literally just go to the description, click on the LinkedIn links and say, hey, I saw you on the show. Shall we grab a coffee? And these humans will be more than happy to probably have that coffee with you.
No doubt.
So thank you so much, Mr. Bracer. Justin and Fuad, I have a very interesting question. So share percentage wise, like there's a lot of formulas out there that says like how you should work out co-foundership and who gets the share, and it's based on this amount of experience and what that one brings to the table. Was it an easy conversation? Were you guys just like, hey, let's go 50-50? Did you not even talk about it? Or did you work out like a formula? Or please, can we have the juicy details?
Oof.
Because you guys love us.
This is a fun one because we've how do I want to frame this? We've learned a lot. So when we started this, it was Fuad and I 50-50 cut, which was an easy thing to come to. We both wanted to start this and we wanted to get it as simple as possible done. As we involved more and more people, we gave them fractional cuts as well. So there's 12 investors / equity partners that did sweat equity for us. Some have worked out, some haven't. So I guess, you know, for the founders, like your ground level, it should be a pretty easy decision. I mean, you know what you want. You have some sort of relationship, and that's fine. But what we've learned and what we would advise anyone on this journey with is think very carefully what you want from additional people you bring in, and then how you can incentivize those shares to come in as milestones are met. This is where we've had a hitch. The people that have worked out great. The ones that haven't, we kind of wished we had taken a little more time with the planning of that part of it. So there is definitely a trust element here. The more you know the person, the better. But at the same time, even if you know someone, it's just more clear for you if you do take that time to set milestones, goals, and you do this, you get this, and there's no questions about it. So I mean, that's my takeaway from that. So, you know, it gets more complicated with the more people you add. And that's where you have to start, you know, using caution and you know, clarity is good for everyone. And that's what, if I could go back, I would be less excited about let's get this done and a little more, all right, let's look at the details.
That would take so much fun out of it, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It does, but trust me, it's more fun when everyone is clear and happy.
I think that's amazing. And speaking about making everyone happy, Rita, you're our happiness guru. Well, that's one of the things that you do. If you want to come into the conversation and just give us your comments, insights, questions.
Thanks, Nestene. I think my question to Justin and Ford is, how open are you guys to your staff personal development?
Sorry, I was unclear on the second half of the question. Sorry, if you could just.
I'm just asking, how open are you guys to your staff personal development?
Oh, staff personal development. We encourage it because one of the tenets of our company is that people maintain a certain degree of certification personally. So, for example, we're Google Cloud Build partners. Well, actually, I learned from Fuad today. We're actually sales, service, and build partners. I just say build. I don't know why I hung up on the one. But one of the tenets of that is that our staff have to stay up to date on best practices in the industry, best practices inside of Google, and the like. So we have incentivized people to maintain these certifications, to get new certifications, and where we can, we help them achieve these certifications, be it financially or however is needed with the help they need. And I mean, it's if you're in the tech business, I mean, this is the lifeblood of it, right? You need your Google certifications, you need your AWS certifications, you need your Microsoft Azure certifications. And if everyone stays up to date on that and you encourage people and incentivize them, then instead of, my one Google guy is now expiring, you have several others that are certified. So you never run into an organizational problem. Not to mention, as new technologies come out, you want everybody to stay up to date on it and just be as knowledgeable as they can. I mean, the worst case scenario, they leave, go get a better job or a more paying one. But I mean, that's a small risk compared to what you gain out of it, which is, A, employee satisfaction, and B, a lot more productivity and knowledge.
Okay, so what you've given me now is the hard skills personal development. I'm actually referring to the soft skills of personal development.
Oh, the soft. Okay, well, one of the tenets of our application is actually the communication end of it. So BlueCap does have self-coaching tools built into it, and that was because we find that a little bit difficult in organizations. Like, some of the hardest people I've worked with in the past have just been like light on the soft skills, so like very technically oriented people, but they are really bad communicators and just don't. I wouldn't say, it's not even about getting along with other people. It's just they just don't take the time to build those bonds internally. So we have a very social staff. We hang out in group chats a lot. I mean, we're remote, so it's kind of hard to like do like team building or anything like that. But as often as we can, we it's not always business conversation either. We check in, see how things are going with people personally, and that. So I mean, it's important to build up the team like that. Soft skills, for me, even it's difficult to say, what are we doing as an organization for it. We try to encourage people with that, but I mean, we don't have any like programs or anything like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think for me, that's why I believe it's so incredible when you see a particular relationship flourish where one hand is washing the other, and it's so symbiotic, especially in the tech space. I think that's incredible, where people can actually not only understand each other but almost interpret. I think it kind of blends in with the soft skills, like Rita was mentioning, because I think in some tech spaces everyone battles, and I think that was Rita. I think that was a really good question, especially in the tech space with soft skills.
It made me sweat because like that's something that's not like, I don't get asked that a lot, right? I'm just like, what are we doing?
Rita, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do?
So yeah, what do I do? Do you know that the lack of how you see yourself and how others are seeing you contributing to your inability to be an authentic high flyer and a smart decision maker that you love to be? I am Rita Skuman from Coaching with Heart, unassuming, nimble, unassuming, and independent.
Thank you so much, Rita. Aston, I think this is the part of this show where you can wow the audience with all of your tech stuff. Like, I know you guys have so many tech skills up your sleeves, like you're literally a tech company. What can the rest of our small business entrepreneurs learn from you guys? Anything on the horizon that we should know about?
Well, I was gonna do a little live show about what ChatGPT, specifically what the 4 update, can do for people, but an hour or no, 10 minutes before we went live, I believe they went down for everybody. Which is how it goes, right? Let me check here. Let's see if they're back up. ChatGPT. So I'm even one of the ones that got suckered into paying for premium, and it's down for me too. So I imagine they're just down. But we can talk about the tenets of it and what we're doing with it and how it can help small businesses. And actually, I guess I'll give a little hint of what this has done for us. So we've talked about Blue Cap and how it can assist you in meetings and things like that. So getting the meeting summary, looking at all the important takeaways from it, like, Nestene needs to do this, this, and this. That's built on ChatGPT and GPT-4's older brother, GPT-3. So we've been in this world for about 2 years now. So before ChatGPT was even an idea, we were already working with this generative AI. So that's what's powering a lot of our internal things. The email response that's written for you is written by a GPT-3 prompt. And what we've been doing for the last week internally is just absorbing what are the impacts of GPT-4 for our business. But we've actually been scaring each other with what we think it's going to do to the industry. Well, not just our industry, every industry, because of how clever they've made GPT-4. So some background for anyone that's not familiar with GPT or GPT-4 or ChatGPT. It's a generative AI that can be prompted through normal chat, thanks to ChatGPT, and give you some sort of response. So if I wanted to write an essay about apples, I could be like, write an essay about apples, give me 30 iterations of it. It'll write out 30 different of the same essay. If you have a problem with one single paragraph in that, you could be like, all right, I like the first and second paragraph, but the third needs to be rewritten. It'll rewrite it on the fly. And that's what it's been good at so far. Now, with the 4 update, what we found is that you can actually train it on the fly. And what that means is if you had your welcome manual for the tribe, for example, if you fed that into GPT, it's now able, based on its understanding of your document, to answer any question about that document asked to it. So if you built, let's go through a hypothetical scenario here. So if you had a chatbot and it was familiar with your onboarding materials, new members could message that bot and it would have every answer that even you would give readily available for them. And all you've done is feed it the material that you already have and then gave it an interface to talk to people. Similarly, Fuad had an anecdote from the other day. Maybe I'll hide the identity of this person to keep them safe from their bosses. But Fuad knows somebody who's very high up in an organization, and one of the parts of their job is to ingest reports from his subordinates and then write a report to upper management. He put all those reports into the software and then gave a sample of the normal report that he would write, and then asked it to create a similar report based on the new data. And it did it. So what was normally 3 days of work for him, he did in an afternoon. And I feel like this is how everyone's going to be using it, because you can train it on the objective you want. And in a lot of cases, it already knows what that objective is, especially for me programming. The programming side of me, so not the CEO side of me, but the programming side of me is scared to death, because I have so far in a week built 2 browser plugins, something I didn't know how to do. So I have them installed and running. Because when you're a programmer, you learn a language, and it's like English, French, whatever. It's just you learn PHP or C or VB or Java, Node, whatever. And so you have the basis of programming, just like the basis of language when your home language. you have to transfer that over to, you know, whatever the other language is. So I've been writing in languages I've never really worked with, based on my knowledge of my home language. And it's generating applications and snippets of code and sometimes entire applications that can be put up on the internet and used by people in a day instead of a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So it has the wealth of human knowledge in most fields available to it at any given time. So you can find clever ways to work it into your workflows. Another example of something we do commonly, we have lives that we do on YouTube and LinkedIn ourselves, talking about new technologies or things like that. So typically when we do that, we have to first come up with the outline of the show, which is what we're still doing manually for the most part. But then we do the show and we have to do the YouTube description, we have to do the social media posts, we have to do the tweet, we have to do the email campaign that we do to send out to our customers, we have to write a blog post to go with it. So starting with the contents of what the video is, we then say, all right, GPT-4, write us all these things. So within half an hour, we can get, you know, half a day or even a day's worth of work done for all these things around the ancillary stuff. So I mean, for me, I don't want to be really spending too much time working on my social media posts or spending too much time writing a blog or things like that to go with it, because I've already done the video. I've done the part that I care about the most. That's the part that was really important to me, is I've said the things that I want to say. So by asking this AI to generate this content, I become the editor. I now have outsourced it, we'll say, just like I'd outsourced it to a person. And I can make the modifications that I want where it missed the mark, in an instant. So, I mean, the amount of work it's saving me, because we don't outsource that. That was why, you know, this is something that me and Fawad do. We do all of that. So right now, because we have this additional help from the AI, we're saving incredible amounts of time, every day. Fawad is working on a report for one of our clients for his Google Analytics 4 implementation. And he's punching in the potential, you know, variables of that, and it's writing the report to go to our client right now. So Fawad is doing the hard thinking. He's putting it together, and then it's formatting it and presenting it in a way that's understandable across multiple audiences. And one of the things that I really like about it is if the report is too complex, or if there's a part of it that is like, all right, this might as well be, you know, language from space for them. I can say, you know, GPT, explain this portion of it, like I was 10 or 5 or 2. So it can take these complex concepts and break them down in longer language or easier language, without me, because it's actually incredibly difficult to do that. I don't know if you've ever tried to, like, you know, you're in accounting, right? Have you ever tried to explain a really complex tax item or accounting item to someone, and you're like, how do I even get simpler than where I'm at?
Oh, that's actually not too difficult, because if you have 100 marbles, no, I'm kidding.
No, it does. It takes an immense amount of brain power. So I've actually been using it to help prepare for my accounting webinars that I do for accountants. Did you know it can write a trial balance? I'll say that. Also, we have a question coming in from the YouTube side, Justin. Rona wants to know. So, hi, Rona, you're amazing. Rona is our copywriter from Scotland. She's amazing. She wants to know, will GPT-4 be available to everyone, or is it going to be a paid service? Do you guys know?
So you can start playing with it now through ChatGPT if you pay for the premium. So it becomes one of the models you can use in there. In the long run, it's gonna be a paid product. So I don't know what their plan is with ChatGPT, if they're gonna have the free version of ChatGPT forever. I can't imagine it would, because it's also available as an API. So what their main business is at OpenAI is they make APIs for other people to integrate in their products. That's how we built BlueCap. So instead of having that chat interface, we use programming language to send and receive prompts, just like in ChatGPT. So in the long run, I think it's going to be a paid service. I've seen the numbers that are proposed for what they're charging right now, which is 4 times as much as GPT-3. So it's going to be expensive for the first little while, but we've seen the life cycle of this, having worked with it for 2 years. It starts out very expensive because they're trying to recoup the amount of money to train the model. And then as it's continuing to be adopted, they've recouped the initial training money. They lower the price to kind of go for a wider audience. And actually, we've already seen it. They dropped the price of GPT-3, which is still very smart for most people. They dropped it by 4x in the fall there. So it's extremely cheap right now. It's one of our cheapest cloud bills in Blue Cab. Google being our biggest bill, second biggest being transcription. So it's funny because it's the smartest part of the application, but it's also the cheapest.
That is so interesting. I wonder if they're going to add Dolly into ChatGPT at some point, because I was like, that would be so cool, because then it would spit out your like content but with the image.
Well, let me show you something here. It's still down, but in fact, they've already kind of. Oh wow, I don't share enough in Zoom. I don't know where I'm going. Let me see. What do you got in front of you? Did I share that? Does it say ChatGPT is at capacity right now?
It says open AI play video.
Okay, cool. That was the right screen. There we go. So this is the announcement they made for it, and the coolest thing regarding this Dolly question is, and if I can find the section of the page, which I never can, they've added visual input to it now. So if you input this image into GPT-4 and ask a simple question like, what can I make with these ingredients? It knows, we've got, a flask of milk here, a cup of flour, 4 eggs, and whatever the heck that is in the background. Looks like a coffee, maybe. This is what you can make with it.
That is cool. So I can take a picture of our puppy and ask it, how do you train this dog?
It might know. It'll be able probably to identify the breed and then pull up some kind of knowledge on, what people have said about training that in the past. But you can also ask hypothetical questions about images. So in the live stream event that we watched live, they presented it with a picture of several balloons, and then they asked it, what would happen if I cut the strings? They didn't say cut the strings of the balloons. They just said cut the strings. And then it looked at the image and said, well, the balloons would float away. So not only did it understand that it's a picture of several balloons, it understands that if you cut strings holding a balloon to the ground, it will float away. So its reasoning capacities are ridiculous. And in another example, they fed the US tax code into GPT-4 and then presented a tax scenario with a couple living together, and they had bought new properties or something. And then they'd asked, so what is the deductible for this couple this year? And it read the tax code, read the story, and then applied the tax code to the story and came up with the correct deductible.
That is very cool. That means it could literally do my entire job.
A lot of people are very slowly realizing that. And the stages of realizing, isn't AI going to replace me, kind of goes like this. Find out about it, be shocked for a bit, figure out how to use it, and then eventually become scared.
Wow.
Go ahead.
I think I'll maintain that. I think it's the people that actually
use it that make it powerful.
Yeah, I think it's the people that are actually going to learn it and use it are going to be the people that end up not being replaced by it.
We interviewed a former Google executive who's moved on to another job now, but Avinash Kaushik. He's Fuad's teacher and mentor in the marketing world, and so we had an in with him, and we asked him a simple question. He's like, in terms of marketing, are these technologies going to replace marketers? And his very blunt answer to that was, the marketers that choose not to adopt these technologies will not have a job.
Correct.
But the ones that choose to will excel. And I feel like in a lot of ways, that's how it's just going to be. 2 days ago, the CEO of OpenAI himself said that he's actually worried for the people that don't adopt these techs. Yeah,
We have a
it's both exciting and worrying to me, because from a tech point of view, I'm excited to use the technology and build things for customers. But on the other side of it, I can definitely see how where I needed 5 people, I may need 2 now.
which
Yeah.
means we should be able to build more stuff, right? But we have
In
a question
theory, yeah.
from we have a in theory. I'm a theoretical type person, okay, Justin. Peter does practical. I do theory. Rona, we have a question from Rona on the YouTube. Oh, it's a comment. She says, I saw an incredible AI image offer where you upload any old photo of you and they AI it to provide professional looking headshot. Do you guys know anything about that?
Yeah, so they're probably talking about Midjourney, which is totally on fire right now. So it's free for now, and there is a paid version of it. But if you have Discord, you can join the Midjourney Discord, and then you can send prompts to the bot, and it will draw probably the most detailed images available out there in the market right now. And there's tons of resources online on how to get the best prompts. Like, it's so in depth. So you can literally say, I want a picture that's realistic with dramatic lighting that was filmed on 35 millimeter with this aperture and all these photography settings. And it will try to replicate every single one of those prompts that you've added to it and give you exactly what you want. So it's funny because the amateurs out there are going to go in and type, I want a picture of a puppy. But the professional photographers out there are going to get the aperture, the lighting, the setup, the feel, the tones, and it's going to be able to do so much more for that. Like, I am not a visual, I would call myself an idiot when it comes to these things. I have a camera, I point and shoot, but anyone who knows more than that is going to get so much mileage out of things like Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or even Dolly.
What is Stable Diffusion?
So Stable Diffusion is if you have a good enough computer, you can install it on your own computer and it'll use your computer's graphics card to do this generation. So unlimited for you. It's only sucking up your power bill. That's about it. And it can generate most of these. Midjourney is actually built off of Stable Diffusion. So I have Stable Diffusion that runs on my local machine. If we're doing something really iterative and I don't want to pay OpenAI for it, I just run it on my local machine.
That is so cool. How do you guys stay up to date with all of these stuff? That just, I feel like we should appoint you and Fuad as our personal, like, keep everyone up to date. We should have a once a month tech update or something like that.
Honestly, I just I get most of my news off of Reddit. So like I've joined all the like if there's a new tech, I just join the Reddit and I see like, thousands of posts a day on like what's cool and what's not, right? Tech blogs. Fuad does a lot of tech blog reading. I mean, he'll post me 7 articles a night on new tech. So between the two of us, we find it from our chosen social media and just staying up to date with blogs.
That is so cool. Fuad and Justin, it has been absolutely amazing to have you guys on the show again today. Thank you so much for everyone else that have also joined us on this show and that have contributed to making this show absolutely amazing. Thank you to everyone on YouTube chatting away. Oh, Sandra, Rona, Hendrik, Susan, everyone. Like, I love you guys just to the moon and back. It's amazing to have this kind of like close-knit community where everyone's the best of the best at what they do, and we all just here for each other.
And if something that somebody has said resonates with you or just aligns with your values or somebody that you're just interested in talking to, do yourself a favor. We've done the legwork. The links will be in the description. Reach out. Hey, I saw you on the show. Let's grab a cup of coffee. That's how all brilliant relationships start. Hey, can we grab a cup of coffee? That's where we take the complexity of networking and we simplify it to a coffee.
Yeah, for sure. And especially everyone needs to reach out to Carolyn. She's our guest for this evening. Let's make her feel welcome and let's book those coffees, please, humans. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here with us for this hour. where we literally just bring entrepreneurs from around the world together. We connect with each other, we share with each other, and we learn together, move forward together. I love you to the moon and back. I know your business is going to be incredibly, amazingly successful, and you're going to help so many people. And I look forward to seeing you again next week, same time, same place. May all your wildest entrepreneurial dreams come true.
And then some.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.